Hello, welcome back to HunterTuned. Today we are doing an ABS module on this truck that came in. I talked about it in the end of the last video. And the title of this video, obviously, we broke the CRV already.
How you doing?
So anyways, it wasn't nothing major that broke on the CRV, but it was, me and Christian were out hooning with it last night. Didn't really film a lot of it, but we launched it like, I don't know, like a dozen times. And the one launch I was showing off to my buddy, and I got a little aggressive and ended up dumping the clutch really hard, and it broke a U-joint. So this is the drive shaft that we had custom made for the CRV. It has the Land Rover viscous coupler built into it and all that. All that is doing great. No failures anywhere on the drive shaft. It's not tweaked or bent or anything like that. It just busted the U-joint at the rear end. So this is good in a way and bad in a way. Mainly good because now we know the weak point of this specific setup. The weak point of this specific setup is the U-joints, not the differential, not the welded clutch packs that I did. I welded the clutch packs, didn't pin it, I just welded them. So all that is holding up great. Transfer case didn't have any issues. And this U-joint probably wouldn't have issues if I wouldn't shock it like I did dumping the clutch. But nonetheless, it is a weak point. These U-joints are so small, I feel like they should be on a four-wheeler. So this is the U-joint, and this is my hand. I mean, my hand's not that big. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not. Here, let me grab here's a razor blade. You guys know how big a razor blade is? Oh, the razor blade's longer.
Watch this. Dollar bill.
Oh, rich boy over here.
Right. It's smaller than a dollar bill in width.
In width, yeah. Yeah, so it's that small. The caps are like, I don't even know.
Jump.
They're really small, whatever. So anyways, we're just gonna replace the U-joint for now because we're getting a snowstorm tomorrow, and I really wanna at least have the CRV running for that. But I am planning on upgrading the yokes or the ends on this drive shaft to accept a 1310 Chevy U-joint. So we all know that Chevys don't break.
Right.
That's why this one's broken, right?
You get them L's, dog.
Yeah. I always save the L's, the dollars that say L on them. That's what I save.
Yeah.
Good way to penny pinch, you know. Oh, it's an L, I can't spend it. Anyways, so I said I don't spend the L's, or I try not to.
Yeah.
Until I'm really broke, and then I'm like, fuck.
You're like, oh, last dollar bill.
Right. So anyways, yeah. I was actually talking to my buddy Aaron. He has an all-wheel drive Civic that he did the same thing on, not with the Land Rover coupler. I think he's got a Civic one. But his car did the same exact thing with this size U-joint. He broke the U-joint. So that is definitely a weak point. I know a lot of guys are going really fast on a 1310 size U-joint. So I would just have to take this drive shaft back to the machine shop and get different ends put on that accept a 1310 joint, which shouldn't be too big of a deal. But now that we are doing the research and development on this drive shaft, once we have it figured out and I know that it's strong and holds up good and etc., I will offer them for sale, but they're probably not going to be too cheap. They're probably going to be like $1,000 or so, just because by the time you put the 1310 joints in it and weld all that stuff in, get the coupler and have it machined and balanced and everything like that, it's going to be like, I don't know, $500–600 in machining. And then my time, it's like an hour drive to this machine shop there and back twice. You know, that's kind of where the price comes into it. But yeah, like I said, maybe in the future we'll have drive shafts available, but for now we are still doing testing on them. But anyways, cool thing too is I've actually reached out to a few people in the last video. I actually got a couple emails and messages regarding injectors. I'm actually going to be doing a Black Friday sale, guys. So by the time you see this video, anything on the website is $25 off. So $25 off any purchase of $100 or more. So if you buy any set of injector from me, it will be $25 off. So that'll be, the normal style injectors will be $75. The flex fuel injectors will be $100, and the set of 8 decap normal style for like your LS builds will be $150. I'm not going any cheaper than that just because it takes a lot of time and finding injectors and stuff like that. And then, you know, going through like piles of them just to find good sets. That's what I do. I wish I had a picture of the big pile of injectors next to my bench that I have from bad injectors. Yeah, it's literally just a mound of bad injectors that you can't save. I've tried cleaning them, etc. But anyways, that's why like I try to reach out to guys and I'm trying to buy fuel injectors from you. Like anything from like these style trucks, 99 to 06, some 07s. I'm mainly looking for flex style injectors. The ones that come in like 03 Tahoe, Suburban, and Yukons. You can look on my website. There's pictures of the flex style injectors. Those are the ones that are a little bit harder to find. And I pay $5 a piece for those. And I pay $2.50 for the normal style. That's what I've been paying guys. Some guys don't like it, but at the end of the day, like, who is buying used junkyard injectors for anything? Right. You know, it's not like I'm trying to screw you guys, but at the same time, like, I have to leave room for margin because I expect every time I buy injectors from the junkyard or buy injectors from any of you guys that half of them are bad. Right. Like, that is just the plain truth because I only sell flow matched even sets. And if they're not flow matched and even, like perfect, it's tough to find groups of 4 or groups of 8 that are all like matched, you know, out of like a batch of 30 or 40 injectors. It's really tricky. But I can proudly say after a couple hundred sets of these things that I've sold, I've had 0 failures. Other than one. I had one failure where, you know, the injector was like leaking a little bit or whatever, but for the most part, 99.9% success rate with the decapped injectors. We run them in everything. Okay, enough of fucking babbling here about decapped injectors. But anyways, guys, like I said, I'm going to do this $25 off deal for 1 week, maybe a little longer than 1 week. So like it'll go all through Thanksgiving, Black Friday, and then into Cyber Monday, and then I'll probably end it like Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. So get them now. If you guys want injectors for your builds, now is the time to do it. You can always get them later too, but obviously the price will go back up to the normal, you know, $100 for the normals, $125 for the flex, which is already super cheap. But thank you to everybody that has reached out to me, willing to sell injectors or willing to donate fuel injectors. I appreciate every single one of you guys. It is a great help for the channel. Selling injectors kind of helps pay for a lot of the stuff that we do, whether it's, you know, buying a turbo or something for one of the builds to show you guys, or you know, paying the fucking heat for the shop. You know, it all adds up pretty quick. So I try to make as much money just doing that kind of stuff because YouTube doesn't seem to pay anything. Yeah, it's funny with YouTube. I literally used to make double what I do now with half of the subscribers.
So when this drive shaft came up, it hit the floor pretty good.
Yeah, it definitely did. But it seemed to be all intact still. But a lot of guys say that the CRV drive shafts do not have a serviceable U-joint. Are they liars?
No.
They're just misinformed. We're spreading misinformation?
Right.
Okay. Well, anyways, guys, this is the part number that you need if you want to service your Honda Element or CRV drive shaft. These are the U-joints, and it comes with all brand new bolts.
And if anybody uses
which is pretty sweet.
If anybody uses this part number, you owe me about $10 for my time of finding it, my hours of extensive research.
933-405 Dorman part number. And these U-joints are actually probably better than the ones that were in this drive shaft because they are the non-greasable style, so they hopefully will hold up better. Whatever. If they do, they do. If
the theory behind it is the greasable ones, they have hollow channels, which will make it less structural.
Yes.
And so non-greasable makes it harder, stronger, faster.
Yeah. So maybe we'll do a 7,000 clutch dump and see if it holds up.
Oh, yeah, that's what I say. We got 2 of them.
Yeah, I know. We do have a spare, so we can break another one and we have a spare.
Right.
But like I said, 1310 U-joints are coming for this drive shaft, but for the time being, we're just going to chuck another one in.
Fuck it.
Because the CRV is way too fun to have down.
Yeah.
It's just a hoot. I enjoy the shit out of that thing.
All right, guys. So we Got the U-joint all, you know, pushed in there.
Yeah, slammed in.
Yeah.
She's nice and smooth.
Yeah.
But the old U-joints had an inside clip. These ones do not. They have an outside clip. And this Honda CRV thing is for, what was it called? Stake fit?
Stake in.
Stake in style or something like that, where it's like, you know, it folds these little edges in after you pound the U-joint in. But we're going to throw a tack on each of them just to like make sure they don't back out. The only reason I am doing this tack job is because if I do break another one of these, I'm not going to put another one of these in. I'm literally going to be switching out this piece and the yoke.
Right.
Or the end piece right here for those 1310 joints. So this is going to be a temporary thing just to kind of have fun with it in the snow, which I don't think will break it, especially if it's snowing out.
Right.
But just something I wanted to mention. Alrighty guys, so we ended up working on this truck right here. This is that Turbo Silverado we've been messing with. Actually just got a new ABS module installed. This is the old one. I don't know if you guys can see in here, but the threads are just messed up on the one fitting here. And where the line, like where the flare is on the inside of the ABS module there is like flat tinned. So it would never seal even if the threads were good. So we got a module from the junkyard for 40 bucks and we threw that in, got it installed, got the lines reattached. And we also made sure that the lines were going to the right spot because I don't think they were initially. It is kind of important on these things to make sure that the front wheel goes to the one spot, the rear wheels go to the one spot, the rear master goes to one spot, etc., etc. So we did that, and now we just have to get some brake pads for the rear because when this thing came in, this caliper was completely seized. You couldn't even turn the frickin' tire because the caliper was just pushed out all the way pretty much, and the pads were gone. I don't even know. I had it on the trunk. No, I put it somewhere. I took it out of here.
Oh, okay. This is the good side.
Yeah, so it's just like rusty, been sitting, brake pads, and they were just kind of stuck.
And they're like...
Oh, here's the good one. Fucking mint. So we got to get some rear brake pads for this thing before we bleed it because we have to put the caliper back on and all that. But yeah, so then we have to figure out how to bleed this system, which I'm sure we're going to have to bench bleed the master cylinder now that we took the ABS module off of it. I'm not exactly sure. I might have to do some YouTubing and Googling on how to bleed this thing out, but we'll figure it out nonetheless. And then after the brakes are done, we can finally get to tuning on this truck. But it does have some other little things that I want to figure out. It has a map sensor on it that is not really one that I would run on an LS. Oh, Christian fixed our little lift button. He made a homemade little rubber pad for it. So anyways, this truck does have a GM 3-bar map sensor. This is like one we would run on Hondas, and it looks like an eBay one. So the way that the truck runs with my base map on it, it should run a lot smoother than it does, but it runs like really rich and barely runs at all. And I'm thinking that that map sensor is not reading properly, so we're going to have to plug in the HP tuner and make sure that that sensor is reading right. And if it is not, we'll have to get the right sensor that just goes right into the intake. And that'll solve that issue of it not running right. Other than that, we have to fix that and then maybe look at his fuel pump wiring stuff. I don't know, it looks kind of sketchy, but we might just leave it alone if it works, kind of thing. Yeah, so master cylinder, I don't know how we're gonna bench bleed it, but we gotta figure it out somehow. Yeah, so this truck should be a lot of fun when we're done with it. Granted, the transmission holds up. We actually got the transmission, he got a 4L80 that he brought down for us to build for him, and we actually just got that dropped off today to get fixed up. It didn't have reverse or something, so got that getting fixed right now. And yeah, so I'm gonna take these little U-joints and set them aside for the CRV. I'm probably gonna go home, throw that thing in. This kit also comes with new bolts, which is pretty nice. I think I already said that, but yeah. So anyways, quick, short little video for you guys today. Just letting you know that we did break the CRV. But nonetheless, not a big deal. It's already fixed. Drive shaft is in the back of my truck. Ready to go back home and put in the CRV because the CRV is at my house. But, yeah. New U-joints and yokes or whatever you call them are going to be in store for the CRV, especially if we break another one right away. But once we figure this thing out and figure out how to get it working right, we'll be dialed. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great night and better tomorrow. We will see you later. I got a set of 317 heads. Actually, I just picked up with dual valve springs, but I do not know what type of valve springs these are. I'm going to ask YouTube really quick what kind of valve springs these are, because they're not, I don't think they're Pack 1218s. They're not, because it's a dual spring, but there's no labeling on them at all. It's got like a really weird looking spring on the inside, but they are aftermarket nonetheless. So anybody knows what type of valve springs those are or what brand they are, drop it down in the ship box.
If you need non-EGR truck manifolds, hit me up on the Instagram.
Yeah, we got a bunch of manifolds too.
If you need a truck intake.
Yeah, anybody wants some truck intakes or drive-by-wire throttle bodies, we throw those in the garbage. Have a great night. See you later.